Have you ever found yourself in a situation where a minor annoyance escalates into a full-blown rage? What if you could transform that anger into peace instead? Can you imagine living a life where anger no longer controls your reactions, where you feel calm and composed even in the face of challenges? Picture this. You're stuck in traffic. Your plans are unraveling and frustration starts to bubble up. Instead of letting anger take over, you take a deep breath and remind yourself that this moment is temporary. You shift your focus to the beauty around you, perhaps noticing the clouds or the trees. This simple shift can change everything. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore powerful insights from Buddhism that can help you never get angry again. Today, we'll dive deep into understanding anger and how to find inner peace. By the end of this video, you'll have practical tools to embrace calmness in your daily life. Now, I need your help. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world and helps us spread these transformative messages. As we embark on this journey together, remember that the wisdom we'll uncover can lead to a profound shift in how you experience life. Let's explore the path to peace, one step at a time. Are you ready? Let's begin. Understanding anger. The Buddhist perspective. Anger is a common feeling we all experience. But what does Buddhism say about it? In Buddhist teachings, anger is seen as a natural emotion, just like happiness or sadness. However, it's important to understand how anger affects us and how we can deal with it. Buddhism teaches that anger arises from our desires and attachments. When things don't go our way or when we feel threatened, anger can emerge. This reaction is often a way to protect ourselves. But if we let anger control us, it can lead to suffering, not just for ourselves, but for those around us too. Imagine a pot of water on the stove. If you keep turning up the heat, the water will boil over, making a mess. Our anger is like that water. If we don't manage it, it can overflow and cause chaos in our lives. Learning to understand anger helps us keep the lid on the pot. Buddha taught that anger comes from ignorance. We often react without understanding the bigger picture. For example, if someone cuts us off in traffic, we might feel immediate anger. But if we take a moment to think, we may realize that the other driver might be in a hurry for a good reason. This understanding can help us respond with compassion instead of rage. Buddhism emphasizes mindfulness. Mindfulness means being aware of our thoughts and feelings without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we can notice when anger starts to arise. Instead of reacting instantly, we can pause and take a deep breath. This pause can create space for a more thoughtful response. Another key teaching in Buddhism is that anger is temporary. It's like a storm that eventually passes. When we recognize that our feelings of anger are fleeting, we can learn not to hold on to them. This perspective helps us not take things too personally. If someone is rude to us, it may be a reflection of their own struggles, not a personal attack. Buddhism also teaches about the interconnectedness of all beings. When we remember that everyone experiences pain and frustration, it becomes easier to empathize with others. This empathy can help dissolve our anger. Instead of feeling isolated in our anger, we can connect with the shared human experience. A powerful tool in Buddhism is loving-kindness meditation. This practice encourages us to send love and compassion to ourselves and others, even those who make us angry. By cultivating this attitude, we can transform our anger into understanding and compassion. In summary, understanding anger from a Buddhist perspective helps us see it as a natural part of life. We can learn to manage our reactions and respond with mindfulness and compassion. Instead of letting anger control us, we can take charge of our emotions and choose peace. As we continue on this journey, remember that every step you take towards understanding your emotions brings you closer to a life free from anger. Next, we will explore the roots of anger and why it arises in our daily lives. Let's continue to uncover the wisdom that can guide us towards lasting peace. The roots of anger. Why do we get angry? Anger is a natural human emotion, but do you know why it arises? Understanding the roots of anger can help us deal with it better. Often, anger comes from feelings of hurt, fear, or frustration. When something doesn't go our way, it can trigger a strong emotional response. Imagine a child who wants a toy but can't have it. The child might throw a tantrum, feeling that their desire is not being met. In many ways, we adults act similarly. When we feel that our needs or expectations are not met, anger can take over. Buddhism teaches us that our attachments to things, people, or outcomes are at the heart of our anger. We often cling to our ideas of how life should be. When things don't align with our expectations, we feel disappointed and, eventually, angry. This attachment can lead to a cycle of suffering. Let's think about a common scenario. You work hard on a project at your job, and you believe you deserve recognition. When your efforts go unnoticed, feelings of frustration build up. This frustration can quickly turn to anger toward your colleagues, or even yourself for not getting the acknowledgement you hoped for. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward change. When we see our attachments for what they are, we can start to let them go. It's important to ask ourselves, why am I feeling this way? Is it because I want something I can't have? Am I afraid of losing something important? This self-reflection can open doors to understanding our emotions better. Another root of anger is the fear of losing control. When life feels unpredictable or chaotic, we may react with anger as a way to regain a sense of control. For instance, if someone cuts you off in traffic, your immediate reaction might be anger. You feel your safety is threatened, and anger becomes a way to assert control over the situation. Buddhism encourages us to practice mindfulness. This means being aware of our thoughts and feelings without judgment. When anger arises, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself what triggered this emotion. Understanding the cause can help diffuse the intensity of your feelings. It's also helpful to remember that anger often masks other emotions. Beneath the anger, there may be sadness, loneliness, or insecurity. Recognizing these underlying feelings can help us address the root cause of our anger, rather than just reacting to it. Another key point is that anger is often about our ego. We want to be right, respected, and heard. When we feel slighted or disrespected, anger can erupt. Buddhism teaches us to let go of the ego. Instead of reacting from a place of pride, we can choose compassion and understanding. Think of a time when someone upset you. Did you react immediately? Or did you take a moment to breathe and consider their perspective? By practicing empathy, we can soften our reactions and respond with kindness instead of anger. Buddhism also teaches about impermanence. Everything in life is temporary, including our emotions. When we remember that anger will pass, we can approach it with a different mindset. Instead of letting it consume us, we can observe it and allow it to fade away. In summary, the roots of anger often lie in our attachments, fears, and desires. By understanding these roots, we can begin to shift our reactions. We can practice mindfulness, self-reflection, and compassion to cultivate a calmer mind. Remember, it's not about never feeling angry. It's about how we respond to that anger. With patience and practice, we can transform our anger into understanding and peace. The mind-body connection, how anger affects us. Anger isn't just a feeling. It affects our entire body. When we get angry, our heart races, our muscles tense, and we might even feel heat rising in our faces. This reaction is our body's way of preparing us to fight or flee. But in today's world, we often can't fight or run from our problems. So, what happens next? First, let's look at how anger impacts our health. Chronic anger can lead to serious issues like heart disease, high blood pressure, and even digestive problems. When we hold on to anger, our bodies suffer. It's like carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. The longer you carry it, the more tired you become. So, letting go of anger is not just about feeling good. It's about keeping our bodies healthy. Now, think about how anger can cloud our minds. When we're angry, it's hard to think clearly. We might say things we regret or make decisions we don't truly believe in. This can damage our relationships and affect our happiness. If we want to break this cycle, we must first understand what anger does to us. Buddhism teaches us to be mindful of our feelings. When anger arises, instead of reacting immediately, we can pause. Take a moment to notice how your body feels. Is your heart racing? Are your fists clenched? By recognizing these signs, we can step back and choose a different response. Imagine you are in a heated discussion. Instead of snapping back, take a deep breath. Feel your body relax as you inhale, and let the tension melt away as you exhale. This simple practice helps create space between your anger and your response. It allows you to think clearly and act wisely. Another important aspect is understanding that anger often comes from fear or hurt. When someone hurts us, our immediate reaction may be anger. However, if we dig deeper, we might find sadness or insecurity beneath that anger. Recognizing this can change how we respond. Instead of lashing out, we can choose to communicate our feelings calmly. Consider this. When someone cuts you off in traffic, your initial reaction might be anger. But if you pause and think, maybe they are having a bad day, you can shift your perspective. This change can turn frustration into compassion, easing your own stress. Our emotions are connected to our thoughts. If we constantly think negative thoughts, we fuel our anger. To break this cycle, we can practice positive thinking. Replace thoughts like, "This is unfair," with, "How can I handle this situation better?" This shift not only calms our minds, but also creates a healthier environment for our bodies. Regular meditation can also strengthen this connection. When we meditate, we train our minds to focus and calm down. Over time, this practice makes it easier to recognize anger before it takes control. We become more aware of our emotions and can respond more thoughtfully. In summary, anger affects our minds and bodies in significant ways. By understanding this connection, we can learn to recognize our anger and choose healthier responses. This journey towards inner peace requires practice and patience. But with each step, we become more resilient and better equipped to handle life's challenges. As we move forward, remember that it's okay to feel anger. It's a natural emotion. The goal is not to eliminate anger entirely, but to understand and manage it. This understanding is the key to transforming anger into peace. Embrace this journey and watch how your life changes for the better. Mindfulness, a tool to combat anger. Mindfulness is like a gentle guide on your journey to peace. It teaches you to be present in the moment, allowing you to notice your thoughts and feelings without judgment. When anger arises, being mindful helps you see it clearly instead of letting it control you. Imagine sitting quietly for a few moments. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs. As you breathe out, let go of any tension. This simple practice brings your mind back to the present. When anger strikes, you can pause and breathe, grounding yourself in the here and now. In daily life, mindfulness can be practiced in many ways. When you feel anger bubbling up, stop for a moment. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Is it frustration, hurt, or disappointment? Naming your feelings helps you understand them. Instead of reacting immediately, give yourself space to think. For instance, think about a time when someone upset you. Instead of lashing out, take a few deep breaths. Notice your heartbeat and the tension in your body. Recognize that you have a choice in how to respond. Mindfulness allows you to see that anger is a passing wave, not a permanent state. A great practice to develop mindfulness is meditation. Find a quiet space, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath. When thoughts come, gently bring your focus back to your breathing. Over time, this practice strengthens your mind, making it easier to handle anger when it arises. Incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine can be simple. You might try mindful eating, pay attention to the taste, texture, and aroma of your food, or practice mindful walking, noticing each step you take. These small moments help you cultivate awareness and appreciation for life. Mindfulness also teaches compassion, both for yourself and others. When you're angry, remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes. Just as you feel anger, others do too. This understanding helps soften your heart and allows you to respond with kindness rather than rage. When you find yourself in a heated moment, practice this. Pause, breathe, and count to 5. This gives you time to cool down and reflect. Ask yourself if reacting in anger will solve the problem. Often, the answer is no. Responding with calmness creates a better outcome. Another powerful technique is to create a mindfulness mantra. It can be something simple, like, "This too shall pass," or "I choose peace." Repeat this to yourself when anger arises. It acts as a gentle reminder of your intention to remain calm. Journaling can also enhance your mindfulness practice. Write down your feelings when you're angry. Reflect on what triggered those emotions. This self-exploration helps you understand patterns in your behavior and responses, allowing you to break the cycle of anger. Surrounding yourself with mindful influences is essential too. Spend time with people who practice mindfulness. Share your experiences and learn from each other. This support encourages growth and helps you stay committed to your path of peace. Mindfulness is a journey, not a destination. It takes time and practice. Be patient with yourself as you learn to navigate your emotions. Celebrate small victories. Each time you pause before reacting, you're making progress. In moments of anger, ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to teach me? Each emotion carries a lesson. Anger might reveal unmet needs or boundaries that need to be respected. Embrace these lessons as opportunities for growth. Remember, being mindful doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means acknowledging them without letting them take control. You can feel anger without becoming angry. This distinction is key to transforming your emotional landscape. As you cultivate mindfulness, you'll notice changes in how you respond to anger. Over time, you'll find yourself reacting with more calmness and clarity. This shift creates a ripple effect, improving your relationships and overall well-being. Ultimately, mindfulness is about connection. Connecting with yourself, others, and the world around you. As you embrace this practice, you'll discover a profound sense of peace that transcends anger. Your journey to never getting angry again begins with this simple, yet powerful tool: the power of compassion. Transforming anger into understanding. Compassion is a powerful tool that can change how we see the world. When we learn to feel compassion, we start to shift our focus from anger to understanding. But what does compassion really mean? It's about caring for others and ourselves, recognizing that everyone struggles in their own way. Think about a time when someone hurt you. Maybe a friend said something thoughtless, or a stranger cut you off in traffic. In that moment, it's easy to feel angry. But what if instead, you considered their feelings? Perhaps your friend was having a bad day, or the driver was rushing to an emergency. When we allow ourselves to see their situation, we begin to replace anger with compassion. Buddhism teaches that compassion starts with ourselves. Often, we are our own worst critics. When we make mistakes, we may feel shame or anger towards ourselves. Instead, try to treat yourself with kindness. Imagine how you would speak to a friend who is struggling. Would you scold them? Probably not. You would offer support and understanding. By treating ourselves with the same compassion, we can reduce our inner anger. Practicing compassion helps us develop empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. When we empathize, we can see situations from another person's point of view. This makes it much harder to hold on to anger. Instead of feeling like a victim, we can feel connected and compassionate. One effective way to cultivate compassion is through loving kindness meditation. This practice involves repeating phrases that express good wishes for ourselves and others. Start with yourself: may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe. Then, gradually extend these wishes to others. May my friends be happy, may my family be healthy, may all beings be safe. This simple practice can help soften your heart and reduce anger. Compassion is also about action. It's not enough to feel compassion, we must act on it. This might mean helping someone in need or simply offering a kind word. When we do something nice for others, we feel better ourselves. Acts of kindness create a cycle of positivity that can replace anger. When we approach conflicts with compassion, we change the entire conversation. Instead of fighting or blaming, we can listen and try to understand each other. This doesn't mean we ignore our feelings or let others walk all over us. Instead, we respond with kindness and assertiveness. We can express our feelings without anger, leading to healthier relationships. Remember that everyone has their battles. When someone is rude or short-tempered, it's often because they're dealing with their own pain. Recognizing this can help us feel compassion instead of anger. It doesn't excuse their behavior, but it allows us to respond from a place of understanding. As we develop compassion, we also learn to forgive. Holding on to anger can be like carrying a heavy burden. It weighs us down and affects our well-being. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means letting go of the hurt and freeing ourselves. When we forgive, we release that burden and open ourselves to peace. Compassion can be a daily practice. Look for small ways to show kindness to yourself and others. Maybe it's a smile to a stranger or a gentle word to yourself when you're feeling down. These small acts can build a habit of compassion, making it easier to respond with understanding instead of anger. As we learn to practice compassion, we become more resilient. Life will always present challenges, but when we face them with compassion, we're better equipped to handle them. We can respond with a calm heart, knowing that anger doesn't help anyone. In conclusion, the power of compassion is transformative. It allows us to turn anger into understanding and creates a more peaceful life. By practicing compassion for ourselves and others, we can build connections, foster empathy, and cultivate inner peace. Let's continue this journey of compassion together, embracing kindness in every moment. Practical techniques: cultivating a calm mind. In our fast-paced world, staying calm can feel like a challenge. But there are simple techniques from Buddhism that can help you cultivate a peaceful mind. Let's explore some practical ways to nurture calmness in your everyday life. First, start with your breath. Breathing is a powerful tool. When you feel anger rising, take a moment to pause. Close your eyes if you can, and take a deep breath in through your nose, feeling your belly expand. Then, slowly exhale through your mouth. Repeat this a few times. With each breath, imagine your anger melting away. This practice brings you back to the present moment, grounding you in calmness. Another technique is to practice gratitude. Every day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. It can be something as simple as a warm cup of tea or a smile from a friend. Focusing on gratitude shifts your mindset from frustration to appreciation. Over time, this habit can transform how you view the world, making it easier to let go of anger. Next, try to observe your thoughts. When anger arises, take a step back and notice what you're thinking. Instead of reacting immediately, ask yourself why you feel this way. Is it a fear? A disappointment? Understanding the root of your anger helps you respond with clarity instead of frustration. This observation creates a space between the feeling and your reaction, allowing for a more thoughtful response. Mindful walking is another great technique. When you go for a walk, focus on each step. Feel your feet touching the ground. Listen to the sounds around you, the rustle of leaves, the chirping of birds. By being present in the moment, you can calm your racing thoughts. This practice not only helps with anger, but also improves your overall well-being. Now, let's talk about the power of compassion. When someone angers you, try to see things from their perspective. What might they be feeling? What challenges are they facing? This shift in perspective can transform your anger into empathy. Instead of reacting with hostility, respond with understanding. Compassion can heal not just your anger, but also the situation at hand. Journaling can also be a wonderful tool. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to write about your experiences. Reflect on moments when you felt angry. What triggered those feelings? How did you react? By putting your thoughts on paper, you gain clarity. You'll begin to see patterns and can develop strategies to handle similar situations better in the future. Create a calm space in your home. Designate a corner where you can relax and unwind. Fill it with items that bring you peace, like soft cushions, candles, or plants. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, spend a few moments in this space. Let it remind you of the calmness you want to cultivate in your life. Limit your exposure to negativity. This might mean taking breaks from social media or avoiding conversations that drain your energy. Surround yourself with positive influences, friends who uplift you, books that inspire you, and music that soothes your soul. By choosing positivity, you create an environment that fosters calmness. Practice self-care regularly. This is not just about pampering yourself. It's about nurturing your mental health. Engage in activities that you love, be it painting, gardening, or reading. When you prioritize your well-being, you build resilience against anger and stress. In moments of anger, remind yourself that it's okay to step away. If a conversation becomes heated, take a break. Politely excuse yourself and go for a short walk or practice your breathing exercises. Returning to the situation with a calmer mind can lead to more constructive discussions. Lastly, remember that anger is a natural emotion. Everyone feels it. The goal isn't to eliminate anger entirely, but to learn how to manage it. Acknowledge your feelings without judgment. By accepting your emotions, you can deal with them more effectively. Implementing these practical techniques takes time and practice. Be patient with yourself as you learn to cultivate a calm mind. Each small step you take leads to greater peace. You'll find that as you embrace these practices, the grip of anger loosens, allowing you to respond to life's challenges with grace and composure. As you continue on this journey, remember that you have the power to choose how you react. By incorporating these techniques into your daily life, you can create a lasting change. Let go of the need to control every situation and embrace the calm within you. The role of meditation: finding stillness within. Meditation is a powerful practice that can help you find calmness and clarity. It's like a quiet place in your mind where you can escape the noise of the world. Imagine being able to sit quietly, close your eyes, and just breathe. This simple act can transform your experience of anger. When we meditate, we focus on the present moment. This means letting go of thoughts about the past and worries about the future. In this space, we learn to observe our feelings without judgment. If anger arises, we notice it, but we don't let it take control. We can say to ourselves, "This is just a feeling. It will pass." Start by setting aside a few minutes each day. Find a comfortable spot where you won't be disturbed. Sit down, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, letting your chest rise, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. With each breath, imagine letting go of tension and stress. As you breathe, focus on the sensation of air filling your lungs. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Gently bring your attention back to your breath. This practice trains your mind to be present, helping you become aware of anger before it takes over. In time, you'll notice that when anger arises, you can step back instead of reacting immediately. This pause allows you to choose how to respond. You might choose to take a deep breath or count to 10. This small space can make a big difference. Meditation also helps you develop compassion. As you sit in stillness, think about the people who upset you. Instead of feeling anger, try to understand their perspective. Perhaps they are having a hard day or are dealing with their own challenges. This shift in thinking can reduce feelings of anger and increase empathy. Another aspect of meditation is visualization. You can imagine a peaceful place, a beach, a forest, or a quiet room. Picture yourself there, feeling calm and relaxed. When you're faced with anger in daily life, remember this peaceful place. Visualizing it can help you find calmness when tensions rise. There are many forms of meditation. You might try guided meditation, where a teacher leads you through the process. There are also apps and videos available that can help you get started. Explore different styles and find what resonates with you. The key is to make it a regular practice. Consider joining a meditation group or class. Being part of a community can motivate you to practice more consistently. Sharing experiences with others can deepen your understanding and make the practice more enjoyable. As you continue to meditate, you might notice changes in how you respond to anger. You'll likely feel more centered and less reactive. When someone annoys you, instead of lashing out, you may pause, breathe, and choose a kinder response. This transformation can improve your relationships and overall well-being. Remember, meditation is a journey. It takes time to develop the skill of stillness. Be patient with yourself. Some days will be easier than others, and that's perfectly okay. Celebrate the small victories along the way, like moments of peace or clarity. Incorporating meditation into your daily routine can create a ripple effect. The more you practice, the more you'll notice positive changes in your life. You'll find it easier to let go of anger, handle stress, and connect with others. As we move forward, remember that meditation is a tool for self-discovery. It opens the door to understanding your thoughts and emotions. With practice, you can cultivate a deeper awareness of yourself and the world around you. So, find a few minutes today to sit in silence, breathe deeply, and connect with your inner stillness. With time, this practice can help you navigate life's challenges with grace and ease. Embrace the journey of meditation and let it guide you toward lasting peace. Letting go, releasing anger for good. In our journey toward peace, one of the most important steps is learning how to let go of anger. Holding on to anger is like gripping a hot coal. The longer we hold it, the more it burns us. So, how do we release that grip and find freedom? First, we must understand that anger often comes from our expectations. We expect things to go a certain way, and when they don't, we feel upset. Imagine planning a picnic, but it rains instead. You could let that disappointment turn into anger. Or you could accept that rain is a part of nature. Maybe it's a chance to cozy up with a book instead. Recognizing our expectations helps us see where anger arises. Next, let's talk about acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean we agree with what happened. It means we acknowledge the reality of the situation. When we accept that things don't always go our way, we begin to lighten our emotional load. Think of a time when you felt angry. What if, instead of fighting the situation, you simply accepted it? This shift in mindset can transform our emotional response. Another powerful tool is mindfulness. Mindfulness helps us stay present. When we feel anger rising, we can take a moment to breathe and observe our feelings without judgment. Instead of reacting right away, we pause. In that pause, we give ourselves space to choose how to respond. This practice takes time, but with each moment of awareness, we become stronger. We can also practice forgiveness. Forgiving someone doesn't mean we forget what they did. It means we release the hold that anger has on us. When we hold on to grudges, we carry a heavy weight. Letting go of that weight brings us lightness. Think of forgiveness as a gift we give to ourselves. It frees our hearts and minds. In Buddhism, there's a teaching called the Four Noble Truths. The first truth is that life has suffering. The second is that suffering often comes from our desires and attachments. The third is that there's a way to end suffering. The fourth teaches us the path to freedom. By understanding these truths, we can see that anger is part of suffering. But we also learn that letting go is the path to peace. Practicing compassion is another essential part of releasing anger. When we view others with compassion, it becomes easier to let go of our anger towards them. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Instead of feeling angry, you might think, maybe they are having a tough day. This shift in perspective helps us respond with kindness instead of anger. Journaling can be a helpful way to process our feelings. Writing down our thoughts about anger allows us to see them from a distance. It's like holding a mirror to our emotions. When we write, we can reflect on why we felt angry and what we can learn from the experience. This reflection is a crucial step in letting go. Physical activities can also aid in releasing anger. Going for a run, practicing yoga, or even dancing allows us to move that energy out of our bodies. When we engage in movement, we often feel lighter. This helps us process our emotions and find peace within ourselves. Lastly, cultivating gratitude can be a powerful antidote to anger. When we focus on what we are thankful for, it shifts our mindset. Instead of dwelling on negative experiences, we begin to appreciate the good in our lives. Start a gratitude journal where you write down a few things you are grateful for each day. Over time, this practice will help diminish feelings of anger. Letting go of anger is a continuous practice. It won't happen overnight, but with dedication and patience, it can become easier. Each time you feel anger rising, remember that you have the tools to release it. By accepting, practicing mindfulness, forgiving, and cultivating compassion and gratitude, you will find that peace is always within reach. As you continue on this journey, remember that you are not alone. Many have walked this path and found the strength to let go. Each small step you take brings you closer to a life free from the burdens of anger. Embrace the journey and allow yourself to find the freedom that comes with letting go. Building resilience, staying calm in challenging situations. Imagine for a moment that you are a tree standing strong and tall, rooted deeply in the ground. When the winds blow, the leaves may sway, the branches may shake, but the trunk stands firm, unmovable. This is what resilience is. The ability to stand strong in the face of storms, both big and small, without losing your balance. In life, we all face our own storms. Sometimes they are sudden, like an argument or a misunderstanding. Other times, they come as a slow buildup of stress, frustrations, and disappointments. It is during these challenging moments that we need resilience the most. But what exactly is resilience? Resilience is the ability to stay calm, even when things are difficult. It's the ability to bounce back, to recover from setbacks, and to not let challenges take control of your mind or emotions. Resilience does not mean ignoring difficulties or pretending they don't exist. Instead, it's about facing those difficulties without letting them disturb your inner peace. In Buddhism, resilience comes from mindfulness, compassion, and the understanding that everything is temporary. No storm lasts forever. No problem is permanent. This simple understanding can change the way we react to challenges. Instead of getting lost in anger, frustration, or fear, we can learn to pause, breathe, and remember that this too shall pass. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds good, but how do I actually become more resilient? The good news is, resilience is something you can build over time. It's like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. Here are some simple steps you can take to build resilience and stay calm, no matter what life throws your way. Step 1. Pause before you react. When something upsetting happens, our first instinct is often to react immediately. We may shout, get angry, or let the situation take over our thoughts. But reacting quickly, without thinking, often leads to more problems. Instead, try this. When you feel yourself getting upset, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Give yourself a few seconds to clear your mind. This short pause can prevent you from saying or doing something you might regret later. It also gives you time to think about the situation more clearly. For example, if someone says something hurtful to you, your first reaction might be to snap back at them. But if you pause and take a breath, you might realize that the person is speaking out of their own frustration or pain. By not reacting immediately, you can choose a more thoughtful, compassionate response. Step 2. Change your perspective. Resilience is also about how you see things. Often, our biggest source of stress comes from the way we interpret situations. We might see a challenge as a threat or a problem as something permanent, but in reality, everything is temporary, and how we view a situation can greatly affect how we feel about it. Let's say you are having a bad day at work. Instead of thinking, this day is a disaster and nothing is going right, try shifting your perspective. Think, this is just one difficult day, and tomorrow will be different. By reminding yourself that challenges are temporary, you can reduce the weight they have on your mind. Changing your perspective also means looking for the lessons in difficult situations. Every challenge offers an opportunity to grow, learn, and become stronger. When faced with a problem, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This simple shift in thinking can help you see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities for personal growth. Step 3. Stay grounded in the present moment. One of the biggest sources of stress and anxiety comes from worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. We might replay a conversation in our minds, thinking about what we should have said, or we might worry about something that hasn't even happened yet. This takes us out of the present moment and makes it harder to stay calm. To build resilience, practice staying grounded in the present. Focus on what is happening right now, not what has happened in the past or what might happen in the future. You can do this by bringing your attention to your breath, your surroundings, or the task at hand. This helps you stay calm and centered, even in the midst of chaos. Step 4. Cultivate compassion. Resilience isn't just about being strong. It's also about being kind, both to yourself and to others. When you're facing a difficult situation, be gentle with yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself if things don't go perfectly. Remember that you are doing the best you can, and that's enough. Compassion for others is equally important. When someone is difficult or hurtful, try to understand where they are coming from. Often, people act out of their own pain, fear, or frustration. By responding with compassion instead of anger, you not only help the other person, but you also protect your own peace of mind. Step 5. Let go of what you can't control. One of the main reasons we get stressed and upset is because we try to control things that are beyond our control. We can't control other people's actions, we can't control the weather, and we can't control many of life's circumstances. But what we can control is how we respond. Learning to let go of things you can't control is a powerful way to build resilience. When you stop trying to control everything, you free yourself from a lot of unnecessary stress. Instead of focusing on what you can't change, focus on what you can: your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude. Step 6. Take care of your mind and body. Resilience is not just about mental strength, it's also about physical well-being. When you are tired, hungry, or not taking care of your body, it's harder to stay calm and handle challenges. That's why it's important to take care of your physical health. Make sure you are getting enough sleep, eating well, and exercising regularly. These simple habits can help you feel more balanced and resilient in the face of difficulties. Taking care of your mind is just as important. Make time for activities that relax and refresh you, whether that's meditation, reading, or spending time in nature. When your mind is calm, it's much easier to stay resilient during challenging times. Step 7. Surround yourself with positive energy. The people you spend time with can greatly influence your resilience. If you are constantly around negative or critical people, it can be hard to stay calm and positive. Surround yourself with people who uplift and support you. Spend time with those who bring out the best in you, who encourage you, and who remind you of your inner strength. Being around positive energy doesn't mean avoiding all conflict or difficulty. It means choosing to engage with people and environments that help you grow and stay grounded. This could be friends, family, or even a supportive community. When you have a strong support system, it becomes much easier to face challenges without losing your inner peace. Building resilience is a lifelong journey, but it is one that can transform the way you experience life. By practicing these simple steps, pausing before reacting, changing your perspective, staying grounded, cultivating compassion, letting go of control, taking care of your mind and body, and surrounding yourself with positive energy, you can become like that strong tree, standing tall and unshaken, no matter how fierce the storm. With time, patience, and practice, you will find that challenges no longer throw you off balance. Instead, you will face them with calmness, clarity, and resilience. Community and support, surrounding yourself with positivity. As we continue our journey towards mastering peace and never getting angry again, it's important to realize that this path is not one we walk alone. The people we surround ourselves with, the environment we create, and the community we belong to play an essential role in shaping our emotions, reactions, and overall state of mind. You see, anger is not just an internal experience. It's often influenced by the external world. Think about it. Have you ever been in a peaceful mood, only to have it disrupted by someone else's negativity or harsh words? Or maybe you felt on edge, and someone's positive attitude calmed you down instantly. This shows how much the people around us impact our emotions. Let's start with the concept of community. Community, in its simplest form, means the group of people we connect with regularly. It could be your family, your friends, your coworkers, or even a group you're a part of, like a meditation circle, a religious group, or an online forum where you share ideas. The key here is that the people in your community have a strong influence on your mental and emotional well-being. If you spend a lot of time around people who are always angry, complaining, or negative, it's likely that some of that energy will rub off on you. Over time, their habits might even become your habits. You may find yourself getting irritated more easily or feeling stressed about things that didn't bother you before. On the other hand, if you are surrounded by calm, supportive, and positive individuals, their energy lifts you up. You'll notice yourself feeling more at ease, handling difficult situations with grace, and finding peace even in moments of tension. Buddhism teaches us the importance of right association. This simply means that the people you associate with should encourage positive thoughts, actions, and feelings. Just as a plant needs the right kind of soil, water, and sunlight to grow healthy, you need the right kind of people around you to grow into your best self. So, how do we go about building a positive, supportive community? First, it's essential to recognize who in your life brings peace and who tends to stir up stress. This might sound a bit harsh, but it's an honest and necessary step. You're not judging anyone. You're simply being aware of the influence they have on you. Think of a few people you spend the most time with. How do they make you feel? Do they encourage you to be calm and kind, or do they often trigger frustration and anger? Once you've identified the influences in your life, the next step is to consciously spend more time with those who bring positivity and peace into your world. This doesn't mean you have to cut others out of your life completely, but you can limit how much their negative energy impacts you. For example, if you have a friend who often complains, you can choose to listen with compassion but not let their negativity affect your mood. At the same time, seek out people who uplift you, those who inspire you to be better, who challenge you in positive ways, and who live with kindness and patience. It's also helpful to join communities that align with your values. If you're on a path to inner peace, try joining a group that focuses on mindfulness, meditation, or spiritual growth. Being part of a like-minded community will reinforce your goals and give you the support you need to stay on track. You'll find that when challenges arise, when someone cuts you off in traffic or you face a stressful situation at work, having a supportive community makes it easier to remain calm and centered. Let's also talk about the role of family. Family relationships can be complicated, and sometimes, our family members are the ones who trigger our anger the most. Whether it's a sibling, a parent, or a spouse, the people closest to us have the greatest potential to push our buttons. But here's the thing. We can't always change the people in our family, but we can change how we respond to them. Buddhism teaches the concept of compassion, even for those who challenge us. When a family member irritates you, instead of reacting with anger, try to pause and understand their perspective. Ask yourself, why are they acting this way? Often, people express anger because they're hurting or struggling with something internally. By practicing compassion, you can transform your anger into empathy, which not only helps you stay calm, but also improves your relationship with that person. In addition to family, our workplace can be another source of stress and anger. Many of us spend a significant portion of our lives at work, and if the environment is tense, it can take a toll on our mental health. Surrounding yourself with supportive colleagues can make a huge difference. If you work in a place where people are often frustrated or stressed, try to be the one who brings a sense of calm. You don't have to be perfect or always in control, but by practicing mindfulness and maintaining your own peace, you can influence the atmosphere around you. People often reflect the energy they receive. If you stay calm, others will be more likely to mirror that calmness. It's also important to create a supportive environment at home. Your home should be a sanctuary, a place where you feel safe, relaxed, and at peace. Simple things, like keeping your space clean and organized, can reduce stress. Having a quiet corner where you can meditate or reflect can also help you center yourself after a long day. We mustn't forget the power of self-compassion. Often, we are our own harshest critics, and this internal negativity can fuel anger. If you want to build a community of positivity, it starts within. Be kind to yourself. When you make a mistake or react in a way you wish you hadn't, don't beat yourself up. Acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, and move forward with kindness towards yourself. This inner peace will extend outward, influencing how you interact with others. Another important aspect of community is gratitude. Showing appreciation for the people who support and uplift you strengthens those relationships. Take a moment to thank a friend for their kindness or tell a family member you appreciate their support. Gratitude fosters positivity, both in yourself and in others. It shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right in your life, which is key to maintaining a peaceful mind. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. Everyone around you is also navigating their own challenges and emotions. By building a community of support and surrounding yourself with positivity, you not only improve your own life, but also contribute to the well-being of others. When you lift others up, you create a ripple effect of kindness and peace that can spread far beyond your immediate circle. In closing, the path to inner peace and never getting angry again is not one we travel in isolation. We are deeply connected to those around us, and by consciously choosing who we spend our time with, we can create an environment that nurtures peace, understanding, and kindness. Surround yourself with those who inspire and uplift you, and in turn, be the person who brings calm and positivity to others. This is how we build a life of lasting peace, together. Conclusion: your journey towards lasting peace. As we come to this part of our journey together, we find ourselves reflecting on everything we've learned so far. You've made it through so many steps, discovering new ways to approach anger, mindfulness, and inner peace. But now, in this part, we focus on something special: how to carry this peace with you every day for the rest of your life. Imagine you are standing in the middle of a quiet forest. The trees are tall, the air is cool, and there's a gentle breeze blowing. In that moment, you feel peaceful, right? You feel connected to the world around you, and for a brief second, nothing seems to disturb that calm. Now imagine being able to carry that feeling with you wherever you go. Not just when you're in nature, but in your daily life, even in the busiest, most stressful moments. This is what lasting peace feels like. It's not just about sitting in meditation or practicing mindfulness when it's convenient. It's about turning that peace into a part of who you are. But how can you do that? How can you take everything we've talked about in the previous parts and apply it to the rest of your life? That's what we'll talk about in this part. Making peace a habit. The first key to lasting peace is making it a habit. Just like brushing your teeth or getting dressed in the morning, finding peace should become a part of your daily routine. This doesn't mean you need to meditate for hours every day, but it does mean being mindful of how you react to things. Start by noticing how you react to small things, like when someone interrupts you, or when you drop something by accident. These moments may seem minor, but they're important. If you can stay calm in these small moments, it becomes easier to stay calm when bigger things happen. Every time you catch yourself starting to feel angry or frustrated, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Most of the time, the answer will be no. And when you start asking that question regularly, you'll find that peace becomes your default reaction. Letting go of control. One of the main reasons we get angry is because we try to control things that are beyond our control. We get stuck in traffic and feel angry because we want the traffic to move faster. We argue with people because we want them to think or behave a certain way. But the truth is, there's very little in life that we can control. What we can control is how we respond to things. This is one of the key teachings of Buddhism and one of the most important lessons in the journey toward lasting peace. If you can accept that some things are out of your control, you'll find it much easier to let go of anger. Think of it like holding a rope. The more you pull and fight with the rope, the more tension you create. But if you let go of the rope, the tension disappears. It's the same with life. When you stop trying to control every little thing and start focusing on how you respond to things, you'll find that peace comes much more easily. Compassion for others and yourself. Another important part of lasting peace is compassion. Not just compassion for others, but also for yourself. Often, we get angry at others because we don't understand their perspective. Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic, and your first reaction is to get angry. But what if you pause for a moment and consider that the person might be in a hurry for an emergency, or maybe they're just having a bad day? Compassion allows you to step outside of your own emotions and see things from another person's perspective. When you do this, anger tends to fade away. Instead of reacting with frustration, you might react with understanding. But just as importantly, you need to have compassion for yourself. Sometimes we get angry at ourselves for not being perfect, for making mistakes, or for not handling situations as well as we'd like. But remember, you're human. Everyone makes mistakes. Being kind to yourself, forgiving yourself when things don't go perfectly, is a huge part of finding lasting peace. Surrounding yourself with positivity. The people you surround yourself with play a big role in your ability to maintain peace. If you're constantly around people who are negative, angry, or stressful, it's going to be harder for you to stay calm. On the other hand, if you're around people who are positive, supportive, and calm, their energy will rub off on you. That doesn't mean you have to cut out every negative person from your life, but it does mean being mindful of how others affect your energy. If you notice that certain people always leave you feeling drained or frustrated, it might be time to set some boundaries. At the same time, seek out people who lift you up. Spend time with those who encourage you, who inspire you to be the best version of yourself. When you surround yourself with positivity, peace becomes much easier to hold on to. Being present in every moment. One of the most powerful tools for lasting peace is mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment. When you're focused on the present, you're not worrying about the past or stressing about the future. You're simply here, now, experiencing life as it is. Mindfulness doesn't just happen during meditation. You can practice mindfulness anywhere, while you're eating, walking, talking to someone, or even doing the dishes. The key is to bring your full attention to whatever you're doing. Notice the sights, sounds, smells, and sensations around you. When you're present in the moment, there's no room for anger or frustration. You're simply experiencing life as it unfolds. And with practice, this mindfulness will become a natural part of how you live. Peace is a lifelong journey. Finally, it's important to remember that finding lasting peace is a lifelong journey. There will be moments when you feel frustrated, angry, or upset. That's okay. Peace doesn't mean never feeling those emotions. It means learning how to navigate them with grace and understanding. As you continue on this journey, be patient with yourself. Some days will be easier than others, but every step you take brings you closer to a life filled with calm, understanding, and joy. Remember, peace is not a destination. It's a way of being, a way of seeing the world and interacting with it. And the more you practice, the more natural it will become. So as we conclude this part, take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. You've learned so much about anger, mindfulness, and inner peace. Now it's time to carry those lessons with you, to make them a part of your everyday life. The journey doesn't end here. It's just beginning. Your path to lasting peace is in your hands. Every day is an opportunity to choose calm over anger, understanding over frustration, and peace over conflict. Let this be the foundation of your life, and you will find that peace is not something you have to search for. It's already within you, waiting to be embraced.